To whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worry. The best has yet to come, just some words of wisdom, plenty more. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come, oh yes it's true. Brighter days are straight ahead, follow me, won't be misled. Just look up, don't hang your head, and we'll get to the promise, yeah.
So today we are at another awesome ride provided by Yamaha. We're here in an RMAX. This is a limited edition model, and we're out here in Colorado. We're going to ride up into the mountains. We're currently at 10,000 feet. The plan is to ride further up, possibly up as high as 12 or 12.5. That's going to be interesting. But this is a great opportunity just to get more miles on an RMAX in a different environment than what we're used to, than what we have at home. And I really like these rides by Yamaha. Even though I have extensive experience with an RMAX, I don't have it here in the mountains. So this is a whole new thing for me. We've got a bunch of people here with us, some new riders, some experienced other media groups. So it's going to be a good day. The first day we were headed out to basically find this old mining site that's, I think, like 100 years old. It was a gold mine way back in the day. So we headed out on some easy trails at first, some higher speed stuff that was really, really smooth and fun. The trails in that area around Taylor Park are extremely varied. They go from being roads you can drive trucks and campers on, and then it would get into some tighter trails that were clearly just for ATVs and side-by-sides, and then we get in some really tight, rocky sections that were pretty gnarly and required a good amount of skill to traverse. One trail in particular that was really neat basically rode alongside a river down a really rocky, I mean, it was just a trail, but it was really rocky, lots of big rocks, small rocks. And at one point, the trail actually was engulfed by the river. So we rode down the river with the water, which was really, really cool. And it was a really long distance and it was quite deep. But it was interesting because the water was flowing so hard, it actually was kind of pushing the side-by-side down the river, so that was neat. We got to some really beautiful locations along the river's edge, found a cool rock outcropping I climbed up on and kind of just stood up on and watched a waterfall. It was really neat. And then we turned around and actually went back up that trail, and going back up through the water was even cooler because it was flowing at the vehicle and just like, I don't know, it was one of those things you don't get to do very often, and it was really cool.
In Taylor Park, Colorado, not only have beautiful scenery all around you, but the trails are just so diverse. You get rock climbs, you get some tight, twisty stuff in the pine trees, up in the aspens, and even at this higher elevation stuff where a lot of times it robs so much power from the engine, you still get to experience how great D-mode works, Ultramat transmission works, and even on command and everything in between. For Yamaha, it's really all about adventure, and when we can go out, ride such exquisite and awesome places like out here in Taylor Park, Colorado, you highlight the vehicle, but you also literally realize your adventure like the model that we have. And when you can go out there, do it with great people, have so much fun too, I mean, that's just the way that Yamaha loves to do things.
For lunch on our first day, we stopped at an old, what I think is a gold mine, and it's pretty incredible to me being out here, seeing some of the equipment that, 75, 100 years ago, however long it was, they managed to get out there when they didn't have, big trucks and they didn't have side-by-sides and ATVs. And some of the pieces of metal equipment that were out there, I have no idea how you would have hauled all of it that far away from a town. There was lots of evidence of old buildings that had collapsed and people had lived out there full time when the mines were active. So it was a really neat location. We stopped and had some lunch there, spent some time with the people we were with, some other media people, and that was really cool. And then we headed back to another cool destination, which at this point was a frozen lake way up in the mountains. You basically come down this mountain pass and all of a sudden there's this basin, I guess, but in the valley of like the mountains, and it's full of water, so it is a lake, and it's frozen still. We saw some snow, but we'd never seen enough snow to make me think that we'd find a frozen lake, but this was. And at one point, the trail actually ran right along the shore of the lake in the water for quite a ways, and I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, where else are you going to see views like this other than in Colorado? You just can't. This place is home of some of the most spectacular views you will ever see. It was just a really, really beautiful spot, and I'd go back there anytime. That was really, really cool. So our second day of riding was actually going to take us up even higher into the mountains. The goal was to reach, I think, 11,500 feet. So we were going to climb like 2,000 feet of elevation. And we started off on some similar trails to what we started on day one, but we quickly hit a spot that we hadn't hit on day one, and it was a river crossing. And all of the people who had scouted these trails, that the first day they scouted them, the river was considerably lower than when we went through it. So when we got there, the water was really high and was flowing really fast. When I went through, like, the water was up in the footwells and the RMAX did actually start to float. It was a really, really cool river crossing.
Come on, Sue, get on the gas. Going through that river was actually probably, I mean, I've been through deeper stuff, but I don't think I've ever been through anything that's flowed that fast. Maybe in a Costa Rica trip years ago when my side-by-side floated away, but that was like fast-moving water. The side-by-side actually started to float down. It was actually really fun. It was cool. And obviously got filled with water, but the drain plugs were great on the RMAX, so we got to test those too on this trip. We've tested everything.
We headed to our final destination for lunch, which was going to be a sort of clearing way, way up in a mountain pass. And to get there, we had to ride up again. It was all huge boulders and rocks. There was water flowing down the middle of it, but it was just overflow from the river that was right beside it. And it just went on and on and on forever, climbing really steep. I could feel my ears popping the whole time I was driving. So I just kept the RMAX in normal mode and in, you know, locked all-wheel drive, and it just climbed right up there, no problem. Like, I didn't even have to put it in low. That ultramatic transmission just protected the belt. I was able to keep it in steady throttle, and it just crawled its way up through these rocks the whole way. I think we climbed for probably a good 20 minutes. It was really, really cool. And the clearing at the top was super beautiful. There was some snow drifts sort of still left up there. It was cooler up there. And we had lunch and just took in some really cool views and talked about the first part of the morning, which was a really exciting ride. In the afternoon, after lunch on the second day, we were headed for, well, we were going to go into this mountain pass and see how far we could get. There was a cabin up in the mountains that was sort of a tourist attraction where people would ride to. They have a guest book And we wanted to get there, but we weren't sure if the snow was going to stop us, if we were going to run into too much snow. And so as we were riding up this mountain pass on some trails that were a mix of sort of tighter stuff and wider stuff, we were coming through some pretty serious snow drifts. Of course, I'm from Canada, so I wanted to not go through the path that everyone else had, and went through the side of the drifts and got, drifts all over the side by side and in my lap. So that was kind of fun. But we did eventually get to a spot where we couldn't go any further, and the snow pack on the trail was about 5 feet deep. There was just no way we were going to make it through, at least not without it being a serious all-day mission. Basically headed back home, again, had to cross the river that we crossed before and head back to our main location. So the second day was really, really fun. There were some really unique situations that we found ourselves in. There were some beautiful locations that we got to stop at and take in the views. And I got to ride with really great people. I mean, the people from Yamaha are awesome. They always treat us so well, and they really do care about our opinions about the vehicles that we ride.
So the trails out here at Taylor Park, Colorado, they really highlight the versatility of the RMAX 1000 platform, and you have a versatile amount of trails out here. And with that, when you get to go through all the different features that the RMAX 1000 platform has, with the D mode, the on command, everything in between, it just really gets to highlight the vehicle best. But also, when you have such beautiful scenery like this, and you get to realize your adventures, have a great time with all these great people, just makes the event all the more fun.
Yamaha had brought in a specific chef to cook in a tent sort of up on a plateau right outside of the lodge, and he made some incredible meals. Yamaha has this knack for finding these guys who can cook outdoors on like outdoor griddles and stuff, but make gourmet meals. Every time I go with Yamaha, it seems like there's a guy doing that. And the food was amazing. So after each day of riding, at the end of the day, we'd crack a beer, we'd have some nachos and whatever our chef friend would cook up for us, and it was really amazing. It was a really nice time. One thing about the ATV media that I really like is that we do tend to get along, and we hang out together, and we have friendships that we've formed over the years because we go to a lot of events together. So there's not really any animosity between different media outlets. We all just get along and have fun riding ATVs together, because that's what riding ATVs and side-by-sides is all about. It's about the people, it's about the fun, it's about the experience, and really, we realized an adventure with Yamaha on this trip that included all of those things.